Day 19, how to take inspired action. We're getting into the point of the course where you should be getting some definitive ideas about your next steps through your meditation practice and through what we talked about yesterday in terms of following your intuition. So the next step, once you get those ideas, once you get that motivation, is to take inspired action. What does that action look like? And what is inspired action? That's what we're talking about today on day 19. We do have a motivational quote, and it comes today from Steve Jobs. So let's go through that real quickly. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. I love this quote. I love absolutely everything about this quote. And in many ways, every sentence we've talked about in this course, and we've provided you with actually support not only through the worksheet, but also through our podcast episodes, which dig much deeper into some of these specific ideas. For example, intuition, and then following your own, passion for, for life and things like that. But I really do love this quote because it talks about following your own path, setting forth and doing your thing and being confident and secure and having the faith and belief that you can actually do it. That's what 31 Days to New Beginning is all about. That's what it's all about. So on day 19, we're talking about our inspired action. We're going to explore this concept, the conscious choice, which is what it is. It's the conscious choice to take steps toward your goal based on your wisdom and your intuition. Inspired action is a conscious choice to take action based on your intuition and your wisdom. What is my gut telling me? What is my meditation telling me? What are my next steps? Which is a question I always tell you to ask yourself. One, it puts you in touch with your subconscious mind and it puts you into control. But two, it allows you to say to the universe, to God, to source, or whatever the God of your choice is, I trust this process. I absolutely trust this process. And so much so that I'm not going to waste any time not sleeping. Here's what I'd like to have happen, and I'm going to sleep and you handle it. So what to do? Inspired action is all about harnessing your inner guidance, your intuition, and purpose to drive your decisions and your actions. This really is in line with everything that we're talking about in the course. We've established our intentions and our goals. We even went so far as to establish a personal mission statement based on our values and our beliefs. So now comes inspired action, which is also in line. And, we're being guided with our purpose, our mission, our values, our beliefs. All of this comes together. All of it runs together. So let's follow these steps to embrace inspired action. Number one is mindful reflection. Every day, I think you should start off with mindfulness or meditation or both. And that is to find quiet space, spending time with yourself. This could be the most valuable and well-spent time throughout your day. Instead of rushing out for your coffee, grabbing your keys into the car or to the office, spend that time with yourself, even if you have to wake up a few hours early to do so. Ask yourself specific questions that you want answers to. In this case, what inspired actions can I take today? Ask yourself, what inspired actions can I take today? And your only work after that is listening. Put yourself in a position to actually hear it when the answer comes. So for me, that means being in a meditative state, not with my eyes closed while I'm driving, this sort of thing, but being focused, listening, not busy in my mind with other things like social media and a lot of phone calls, loud music, the news, things that are upsetting me or sending me off in another direction. I want to be prepared to actually receive the answer to my question. Okay, so let's be in a state of listening. Next, set clear intentions. You want to write down your intentions for the day. So it's, we talked about it a couple days ago. It's a good idea to do this the day before, so you've got less to do the day of. But the night before you go to sleep, you know what you have to do tomorrow. For the most part, write that stuff down. Write it down, be specific about what you want to achieve, and then ensure that your intentions align with your larger goals. Okay? This should be intuitive at this point. Trust your gut. Let's talk about this for a second. Trusting your gut means throughout the day, pay attention to how you feel. Perhaps there's been times when you were younger and you just had a feeling, maybe you were at a friend's house or a party or some situation where you just thought, it just doesn't feel like, this is where I want to be, or it doesn't feel safe. Maybe this doesn't feel safe. You're at a park and, hey, this just doesn't feel safe, or I just don't feel comfortable. And then you take yourself out of that position or out of that situation. And maybe you didn't think much of it, but this is your intuition. This is your gut telling you, hey, something here is not, something is not right. Something may happen here, and it's trying to move you into a different space for your safety. Well, no different than that. Now, what you're saying is, I want to consciously be aware of how I feel. And I'm going to allow how I feel, my gut feelings, my intuition to guide me in terms of my decision making. One obvious, issue that people have here is that a lot of times what you may be feeling and then what your gut or inner voice is telling you, you may not deem as logical. You may not deem as logical, and also you may not want to do it. So, for example, if you're in a relationship and your still small voice is telling you, you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to be away from this person. You need to be away from these people. You need to stop taking drugs, or you need to, go to a different environment in terms of, a religious, institution. These are things that maybe we have some opinion on. And so therefore we are not listening to the still small voice because we don't want to do it. And I'm telling you from experience, I've gotten messages from my still small voice very clearly, but it was things I didn't want to do. So what happens? You stay in a situation longer than you need to, and ultimately what needs to happen is going to happen anyway, except life makes a decision for you. Okay? So trust your gut. When you're faced with these opportunities and decisions, trust your intuition to guide you. Because remember, the voice is really you. It's your higher consciousness. It's you, that form of you, that version of you that really knows how all this stuff is going to turn out anyway. And it really is trying to help you get to where you say you want to go. The next thing is very important, is to take small steps. So when we talk about inspired actions, don't have these grand gestures. Identify small steps, move closer to your goal a little bit at a time. Steps can include, just the smallest of steps. So depending on what it is that you want to do, you don't have to do it all today, is my point. So cultivating the relationship is really the important thing. What I like to do each day is to challenge myself to do as much as I being told to do by my inner voice. So when I hear my inner voice, for example, let's say if I'm going to the grocery store, and there's someone in the grocery store, and my inner voice says, I don't know, pay for their groceries, or introduce yourself, or, just say a kind thing to this person. It's uncomfortable sometimes because obviously I don't know this person, but I've done it in the past, and it really turns out well. I've not had a situation where I was like, oh, I'm never doing that again. It turns out well, and you never know why you're being led to do this sort of thing. You don't know what's going on in the other person's life. You don't know how this kindness can affect them and their trajectory for the day. But what you do know is that you reap what you sow. What you do know is there's reciprocity in the universe, meaning when you are there for other people, whether you know them or not, you're sowing a seed and trust with the universe that says, I'm willing to put myself out here to sow in goodness, to sow in kindness, and to sow in a high vibration into the universe. And what happens? You get it in return. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason you do it, but I'm explaining to you that it's impossible to give and not receive. in my opinion. It's impossible to give and not receive. It's just, in my opinion, not the way the universe works. If you are busy giving, I'm telling you, at some point, if not, very, very soon, you will be getting, because it's reciprocity. And we live in a cosmos, not a chaos. This is all organized, and there is organization to this. And then lastly, stay open. Stay open probably is the most important thing. As you stay open, be open to opportunities and encounters. The unexpected is really what the universe loves. It's what Source loves, because this is, I was talking about before, we want to know the how. That's the part that, it's like a surprise party. Imagine if you are planning a surprise party for someone you love dearly, and the person keeps asking you, are you doing a party? Are you doing a party? And if so, what are you doing? What kind of cake are we having? Where is it going to be? Who's going to come? It kind of takes the fun out of it, right? It's enough that you're going to have a party from your vantage as you plan it. At least allow me to do, this kindness and surprise you with all these niceties. Same way with the universe. The universe is saying, let me just put together stuff that you could never even think of. Like, there's synchronicities that happen on a huge level that you could never orchestrate within your own self that I can put in place. And it can be so magnificent, but you could never think of this. This is why it's important to leave the how up to God, Source, universe, because really, and there's actual scripture to support this, that really is the work of the, of Source, to be able to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. And it'll be done in a way that you could have never thought about. So what is your work? Your work is to identify your intentions and your goals. That's number one. Excuse me. But number two is to have the faith and believe that, this will happen. As a matter of fact, we're going to call it already done. Those things that you want, let's go ahead and say now that they're done. So like Neville Goddard says, let's live in the end. Meaning, how can we create the feeling of the things that we want right now? And we're going to skip over this bridge of incidents for now. This bridge of incidents, meaning these are coincidences and encounters and things that you're never going to even be able to put together yourself. But at some point, they will happen to get you here. Your only goal is to identify what you want and then confirm that you have it. Let the universe surprise you and just indulge in whatever it is that it wants to do, knowing that it has your best interest in mind and it wants everything to work out for you. And the more you do that, the more you get these wonderful encounters with wonderful people. I mean, I'm telling you, there's so many great people around you. You've got no idea what people can do, what the universe can do to bring these great people into your lives and these great ideas into your life. And your life can be just, this fantastic occurrence all the time where you're just ecstatic. And then the more you get, the more you want to give. And the more you give, the more you get. And it's just a cycle. It just keeps going. So this is an important thing as you are revitalizing your idea of yourself. Think differently about people, about ideas, and about how things can come to you. So far, I'll almost tell you this with some level of certainty. I'll guarantee you that you think the only way that you can make money is by giving somebody your time, i.e. going into a job and getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. No. There are indefinite number of ways that you can be wealthy and be given wealth and abundance. But if your mindset is only punching a clock, then that's what you're going to experience. So be open. That was our last thing. Be open to ideas, opportunities, and encounters. Let's see. Top reasons to take inspired actions, and then we'll close out. Consider Steve Jobs' quote and how it relates to your understanding of inspired action. You want me to read it again? I really like this, so I don't have a problem doing that. Let's read Steve Jobs' quote again. Your time is limited. Don't waste it. That is so critical. Don't waste it living someone else's life. First of all, you can only be you. They can only be them. You trying to duplicate someone else's life is going to be stressful and anxious and anxiety-ridden and unsuccessful because you're not made to be someone else. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living the result of other people's thinking. Don't let people tell you what you should be doing. Listen to your own gut and your still small voice. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Okay. All right. So the top reasons again, this is going to help to align you with your authentic self. That part of you that knows why you're here, passion, work equal fulfillment, that authentic self. Efficiency, effectiveness. You're going to feel productive every day. Why? Because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Enhanced motivation. You can feel great about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Creative problem solving. When things come up and challenges and opportunities and problems come up within this mindset, they're no longer seen as problems. They're just opportunities for growth. And this is the way that you'll see that. Increased confidence, resilience, greater satisfaction, positive impact on your community, on your life, on the people around you that you love. Synchronicities and opportunities. This is probably the most exciting part about listening to your still small voice. It's like playing a game. It's like playing a game where you don't really know what's going to happen, but you're trusting, okay, you said for me to go talk to this person. I don't know this person from Adam. But then you go and there's this interaction, there's this opportunity, there's this thing that just happens because you listen to your still small voice. Or instead of going this way home today, go this way. Instead of going to this store, go to that store. Okay? Just listen to your still small voice. And then all of this can result in accelerated progress, which of course lends itself to just overall productivity, you getting to your goal, getting to your achievement, to your intention much, much quicker. All right. So just go back through your daily practice. Again, we do have a worksheet associated with this one as well. Everything has its own worksheet, and you're going to be able to take notes around all of the ideas that I've given to you today. This is a little longer course. This one is a little longer today, but I think it's well worth it because this, following your intuition, cultivating your intuition, spending time in meditation and mindfulness, listening to your higher self through that still small voice is one of the most important things you can do to expedite and to secure the confidence and security and the life that you say that you really want. Go back and listen to this again because there's a lot here. There's a lot here. And I just want to make sure you got everything. So do that, and we'll see you on day 20.